So today might not be the most exciting news, but we do have a lot of moves that have gone on in baseball the last couple days that I haven't got a chance to cover. The big one, the headliner of today's video, as you could tell from the title, is going to be about Shogo Akiyama, the Japanese center fielder, signing with the Cincinnati Reds. We're also going to talk about Dickerson signing with the Miami Marlins. The Twins have also signed Sergio Romo to help that back end of the bullpen. Eric Sogard back to the Milwaukee Brewers. There's a lot of things to talk about in today's video. No extreme big major news, but I figured I could use that to talk about Shogo Akiyama a little bit more in depth, because I don't think a lot of you guys really know who he is, and it's kind of hard to figure out what kind of player he is through YouTube, not a lot of clips. So as always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support on the channel. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoyed the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Give me your thoughts and opinions on all the moves that we're talking about today, maybe even some rumors that we address towards the end of the video. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description. I'm always talking baseball over there. So a lot of different people have been reporting about Shogo Akiyama, who's a 31-year-old center fielder from Japan. He was a pretty solid player over there, possibly signing with the Cincinnati Reds. And as of right now, it's not completely 100% official, but it is reported that the Reds and him have agreed to a 3-year contract starting in 2020. In terms of the money, there's no official report just yet on how much it's going to be, but it looks like it's going to be somewhere above about $20 million, but I can't imagine it goes much higher than 30. But this Shogo Akiyama play is a really interesting pickup here. 31 years old, so he's essentially what's going to be in his prime as of right now. He's not a young guy that you're hoping develops. These next 3 years are probably going to be the best possible 3 years that you're going to get out of this player. And to be fair, in Japan, he's had a really successful career thus far. In his 9 seasons in the MLB, has a .301 batting average with a .376 on base, .454 slugging, even an OPS at .829. But since 2015, his OPS has been hovering right around that .850 to .900 range, hitting for more power, hitting for more doubles, getting on base more. He's a much improved player from the start of his career, specifically in the last 3 years where he's hit at least 20 homers a year, at least 30 doubles, stealing about 15 bases, and walking almost 80 times every year. So he's not the next Mike Trout, obviously. I mean, I think you probably knew that because you hadn't heard of this guy, but he was a very solid player in Japan playing for the Seibu Lions, and I don't think there's a reason why he can't come over and be a very successful player in the 2 or 3 seasons that he's with the Cincinnati Reds, because from what I have seen through his highlights and what I've seen through scouting reports and just looking at his numbers, this guy is definitely a ball player. He knows how to play the game of baseball. The biggest thing that stuck out to me in all the highlights and all the film that I saw about him is his speed. This dude is lightning fast. Now, yes, he's not stealing more than 20 bases a year out in Japan, but with that kind of speed and the fact that he is a plus base runner from what his scouting report says, he can be a very dangerous guy in the base paths in the majors. The one play in particular that really brought out how fast this guy is was in the Premier 12 tournament. Like, this guy is playing a very shallow center field, and he gets to the warning track right at the wall, super fast, super quick, didn't have a lot of time, made a great play out there. What it looks like you're gonna get with him guaranteed, like off the rip, no matter what, you're gonna get a guy who's fast, you're gonna get a guy who has good range out in the outfield. Some people think he's more of a corner outfielder, but watching this play, I think that he has all the instincts to be a center fielder, maybe not towards the end of that contract, but right now for the Cincinnati Reds, I don't see why he can't play center field. I mean, they put Nick Senzel out there, he's not a center fielder. They even put Michael Lorenzen out there, who was a pitcher. I think Shogo Akiyama is going to be a nice improvement out there in center defensively, and he has a pretty decent arm as well. At the plate, of course, is always going to be the biggest question. How is he going to adjust to the major league pitching? Well, to me, from my first glance, I've watched some batting practice from him and some game clips. I don't think that he's going to be an all-star level hitter. I don't expect him to hit 20 homers and 40 doubles a season. I think if you see that, you're going to be seeing fantastic production out of this guy, but I think he can be somewhere close to that. His swing isn't too long. He is short and compact to the ball, hits to all fields. A lot of the time when you see these Japanese players come over, they're either Ichiro, who hits for only singles, or you get a Kaz Matsui who comes over with all this hype and never lives up to it. His game doesn't translate to Major League Baseball, long swing, a lot of holes in it. I don't see the holes in Shogo Akiyama's swing just yet in the brief amount of clips that I have watched. I think that he has a nice short swing, hits to all fields like I said, and what I really like seeing is that he can hit for power. He does have some pop in that bat, which is always, that feels like the biggest concern, because out in Japan, the home run game not nearly as important as in America. They play a lot more fundamental baseball, where here sometimes it can be a little home run heavy. Do I think he's going to be an MVP candidate? No. Do I think he's going to be an all-star? I don't think so, but I think he can be a very solid player from the Cincinnati Reds, and I personally like the pickup. Why not, right? 3 years, a little over $20 million. There's really no risk there. He's shown that he can play at a very high level in Japan, which is essentially 4A baseball, right in between AAA here and major leagues. I think his game is going to translate just fine to Major League Baseball, and he's going to be a valuable player for the Reds in 2020, just confirming more that they're going for the push to try to make the playoffs this year, grabbing a guy like Shogo Akiyama instead of maybe sticking out with Nick Senzel in center field. Now, what does this mean for Nick Senzel? Because Senzel was the center fielder last year. You thought that's probably going to be his spot now. Originally a second baseman, that was really his best position, but they needed him in center, and that's where he played last year. Well, they signed Mike Moustakas, who you think is going to play second base. Don't really have a shortstop, but that's not Nick Senzel's spot. Do they now move Moustakas to third, Suarez to short, which was essentially his original position, but let's be honest, he's a third baseman. Does Nick Senzel slot in at second? Does Nick Senzel go to a corner spot? Does Does Akiyama go to a corner spot? There's a lot of different scenarios that the Reds could do, and it's honestly a good problem to have. But overall for the Cincinnati Reds, I really like what they've done this offseason. I think they've gone out and got really nice pieces that can help them be a very successful team in 2020. Very strong pitching staff. They improved the offense by grabbing a guy like Mike Moustakas. I personally think they should still try and go out and get a Marcell Ozuna, Nick Castellanos type, but the Reds have put themselves in a really good position for 2020, and they're going to be a team that's going to be a lot of fun to watch next year. Keep an eye out for Akiyama. I'm interested to see how he does. I think he'll be fine though. And then in other outfield signing news, we had Corey Dickerson sign a 2-year, $17.5 million contract with the Marlins. Right off the bat, the Marlins are already a better team than they were last year. They added Jesus Aguilar, they added Jonathan VR, now adding Corey Dickerson, they've added some guys in the pen. Still going to finish in 5th place by a very good margin. That is not a strong team by any means just yet. But they're starting to at least get some major league level players out there, because last year they were throwing out Lewis Brinson in center field every game. You throw Brian Anderson out in the outfield so that you could try to get some other guys in better positions. Austin Dean, Harold Ramirez. I mean, these guys just aren't major league level players every single day, and that's who the Marlins were throwing out there. So adding Corey Dickerson already makes them a better team. And if you guys remember last year talk about trade deadline moves, I was kind of big on Corey Dickerson, predicted him to go to the Phillies. I was correct. I think he's a really solid player. I like the way he plays his game, hits for a pretty decent average. Doesn't walk, that's his biggest thing. He pretty much just gets a hit or he's gonna be out, but he plays good enough defense out in the outfield, high average kind of guy, does have some pop in his bat. He's not there to be a star. He's not there to be the middle of the order kind of guy, which unfortunately maybe he will be with the Marlins, but in theory right now their top like 5 in that order is a lot stronger than it was in 2019. You got VR, Aguilar, Dickerson, Brian Anderson still. Jorge Alfaro is a pretty good hitter. Diaz at second base is going to be a nice little bat if he can turn around, hit for some more average. Maybe they pull up Monte Harrison. They have a lot of different combinations. They're still going to be a last place team by I think a very good margin in the National League East, but they're going to be a lot more competitive and be able to win more games than they were last year, because last year that was just a weak team. Not much to look into here else though for Corey Dickerson signed with the Marlins. I mentioned it earlier in the video, Sergio Romo signed with the Minnesota Twins. Now this isn't new news. This actually came out like kind of a while ago, but I don't think I ever mentioned in a video, so let's talk about Sergio Romo to the Twins. Really good pickup by Minnesota. Sergio Romo may not be the dominant reliever that he once was with the San Francisco Giants, but the last few seasons he has definitely been effective. Last year, split time between the Marlins and the Twins, 3.43 ERA in 60 innings pitched, 20 saves, a whip at 1.110. He had an under 1 whip with the Twins, and an ERA hovering right around 3. Striking out batters, not walking a lot of guys, knocking up a lot of hits, home run ball a little bit too much. But Sergio Romo at the back end of the bullpen to help the Minnesota Twins, because as we know, their starting rotation, it's not the strongest. It's not gonna be the strongest. They miss out on Bumgarner, they missed out on Keuchel, they missed out on a lot of the top guys that people thought they'd go after. So if you're not gonna be able to get those guys in the starting rotation, you need to make sure that when you get past that 5th inning, you have the arms available in the bullpen to close that game out for you, because there's just some games where those starting pitchers aren't gonna be able to go far. Adding Sergio Romo, another solid arm in the bullpen. I like this move by the Minnesota Twins. They haven't improved a whole lot this offseason like I thought they should have, but with the Indians getting worse, trading Corey Kluber and some other guys, not really making any big moves, and the fact that they still might trade Francisco Lindor, who knows? I think the Twins can feel pretty comfortable in the AL Central, but I don't know, they need that missing piece still. To me, they're still not a team that can really contend for a World Series. We saw it last year, the Yankees steamrolled them, and I'm just not confident on what they've done this offseason to make themselves that much better. And if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That being said, Twins are still winning the AL Central as of right now. And then rumor-wise, like there's not a whole lot. It's kind of been quiet. We've been hearing about Nick Castellanos. A lot of teams want him. What a surprise. The dude is JD Martinez 2.0. Marcell Ozuna, not so much being talked about right now, which I thought was surprising. Yasiel Puig, is he going to sign? Is he going to play in Japan? I mean, that's a crazy rumor that maybe it's going to happen. He's going to go play in the NPB. And then Josh Donaldson, like, is this guy going to ever sign either? I guess the ball is in his court because he is by far the best free agent available on the market right now. And it seems like he's just playing the waiting game. He wants to see who's going to get impatient, offer even more money to get him to sign him now. He obviously wants that extra year on the contract. 4, I think, is a realistic amount. I wouldn't give him more than 3 in an option, but he probably wants 5, which you can't blame him. You want security, right, with your job? That would give him the security. Nationals, Twins, Braves, Phillies, all teams that could probably use him very much. Even the Dodgers, I think, have been in conversation with him. Where do I think he ends up going? I think the Nationals end up grabbing him. They need to fill in that hole for Anthony Rendon, and Josh Donaldson would be a really good way to do that. The Braves typically don't like to spend money on players like that, and especially a guy like Josh Donaldson who's getting up there in age. He had a great year last year, but it just doesn't feel like a contract the Braves are willing to give out. I could see him in Philadelphia. I could see him in Los Angeles. They've shown they'll spend money, but I think the Nationals are going to end up with him. We'll wait and see, though. The offseason has finally, hit its slow point. Pretty much all the big free agents are gone. There's only only like 4 or 5 guys left. I'm thinking about maybe doing like a top 10 free agents available list later on this week. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments down below. But as for today's video, I think that's pretty much it. I'd love to know what you guys think about all the moves, Shogo Akiyama, and all the other players down in the comments down below. Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe if you love baseball content. Click it, join the team. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Link is in the description. And that's going to wrap up today's video. You guys know the drill. YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.